This is Dr. Elena Richardson. Log entry 002. Subject analysis of Doomslayer. There is no chance that the subject is a demon. We have blood samples pulled from the Mars event that show his blood type is AB positive. He is male, with a genome that makes him very much a member of the human race. But the enhanced speed, strength, and athleticism would indicate otherwise. I cannot, as a contributing member of the scientific community, agree with the assumptions by some of my colleagues that he is, for lack of a better word, a god. An avenging angel, the right hand of doom here to save humanity from its sins. But I cannot ignore the timing of his arrival, the identity of his enemies, the fire and brimstone element to this catastrophe we currently find ourselves in it has definitely shaken my scientific resolve. Hi guys, Tiny One Badger here. Sorry about the weirdness of that intro. I just really love that quote, and I really love me some Doom. Have you guys played Doom? Or Doom Eternal? They're both really good games. I've streamed both of them, and they exceeded my expectations. I never knew how much I just needed a character to truly and thoroughly eviscerate bad guys. I just like the idea that you are an unrivaled badass. Being badass in your way around town. That's so cool to me. So thanks to my good friend Adam Ballard, I had a 3D printer plopped in my lap, and I was gonna make a video on how to use a 3D printer. But it's actually really easy to use a 3D printer. Like, I was on Reddit, and I was reading a bunch of words I'd never heard before, and guys, I was terrified. I thought I was gonna turn this thing on, and it was just gonna immediately explode, and then I was gonna be out, like, $500 and then have to learn things, which is my least favorite thing to do. My 3D printer specifically, and you can skip to this part if you just want to see the making of the helmet, is an Anycubic Mega X. It is a really awesome printer. It's got a couple salty reviews, but I think these people might have just gotten, like, the printer busted in the mail or something, because I've had no heatsink issues, I've had no issues with, like, leveling. Like, I used the paper method, which I didn't know what that was, and then I googled it, and then I immediately knew what the paper method was. The dials to adjust the tray, the platform, I don't know what it's called. Like I said, guys, I'm an idiot. The dials to adjust everything were really big and easy to maneuver. I'll post a review that I found of my printer, and you guys can see it's actually really awesome for the price. So it gets here, and it is in, like, the biggest box ever. We have a P.O. box, so I had to carry this thing from, like, the post office to my car, and I don't drive a big car, guys. It's a Mazda 2. It's, like, 3 square feet altogether. So getting it home was its entire ordeal, and then I get it, and I open it up, and the instructions are in, like, kind of English, you know? It's like, if you read it, it sounds okay, but then you, like, look into it, and you're like, this is very weirdly done. It actually came with a lot of stuff. It came with a roll of filament, which I was not expecting it to. It came with everything I needed to hook it up. Cleaning utensils, just anything you'd need to get a 3D printer running, this stuff it came with, which is so cool. How often does that happen, that you buy a thing and then you can just use the thing? That doesn't happen very much for me. I literally set this thing up, and within the hour I was able to print. I didn't think that was going to happen. I was on Reddit. I thought that I was going to have to learn a bunch of stuff and figure out a lot about leveling and figure out how to use Octoprint right away. But no, you literally download Cura and then go to Thingiverse and download a model, and you put the SD card in the printer, and it just does it. It's amazing. My printer specifically is not on Cura, so I had to type in the specifics of my printer on the little info board. But the thing is, there's a dude who already posted a tutorial for it. So I didn't even need to learn that. It was literally looking at a thing and plugging in numbers, and I'm really good at that. My dad taught me how to use Excel as a kid. That was the only time we ever bonded. Once I had gotten a few prints under my belt, I kinda learned where I could and couldn't go wrong. I figured out tree supports are better than any other support you can do. I decided to try my hand at making a helmet. Kit Reeveson on Thingiverse is the guy who posted this design. I'll link it in the description. I sized it up about 3%, so this was 103%, because my roommate has a giant head. Like, have you guys seen him? You guys may know about him. He's really popular. But yeah, check in the description if you guys want to see these files for yourself, and if you got a 3D printer, print them out. Isn't it cool? So let's just step by step this. The first piece that I printed out was the mouthpiece. It came obviously separate, and this was nice because I could sand it while everything else was printed out. What you want to do is you want to take your 80 grit sandpaper. You're going to buy 80 through 1,000 grit sandpaper. After that, it's really not super necessary. Then you really just need car polish. Once you hit 1,000 grit, just use car polish, and that's going to fix up everything else. You're going to want to go through about 6 different sizes of sandpaper. So with the 80 or 100 grit sandpaper, on your first pass, you're going to try and get as many lines out of it as you physically can. Super important also, wear a mask while sanding. You want to keep your lungs. They're actually a kind of vital organ. I'm not trying to social distance from my work right now. Wear a mask, for the love of God. And when you're using Bondo or harsh chemicals, wear gloves. I can't believe I have to tell people this, but I keep seeing dumb kids on TikTok not using proper safety methods while using things like resin, which is worse than sandpaper stuff. Wear gloves and a mask, please. Please. Wear a respirator if you're using some kind of bad chemical. And always do this in a well-ventilated area. Always. Don't just be in an enclosed space spraying spray paint. I don't want to be responsible for anyone getting cancer in 20 years because they're an idiot. I printed this at 0.03 millimeters because I wanted it to print fast and I didn't need it to be too detailed because I was going to be sanding the crap out of it. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get some filler/primer. You can find this in like the automotive section, but I would actually go to the spray paint section and get the Valspar version of it because the Rust-Oleum version of it clogs up your sandpaper really bad. The Valspar one has a better plasticky, less powdery finish to it. So I would suggest using that one over the Rust-Oleum one, but either of them will get you the same results eventually. You're going to spray it down once, give it a nice, good, solid coat, and then give that time to dry. Once it dries, you're going to go back to sanding. You're going to go down the list from 100 to 1,000. I would use about 6 sandpapers, and you can just use the sandpaper flat, but I found that these like silicone sanding blocks worked really well. I wish I could find refills for them with the fuzzy backing, but they don't sell them anywhere in my city, and I can't find them online, so I'm just going to start hot gluing more sandpaper to them eventually, I guess, because this thing saved my hand. You can use the raw sandpaper itself. I don't suggest using a big chunky sanding block. I couldn't get it to work because I have baby hands, but also it's not very accurate. It's more for cars and bigger wooden projects. It's not for fine details. And I would also suggest getting a file set because files are going to help you around little tiny pieces that you don't really want to have to go in with sandpaper with. So once you get that piece nice and sanded, I would go around the edges and rough it up with 100 grit sandpaper, just so you can affix the pieces to each other. You're gonna do this with every single piece. Once I got all the pieces sanded, which I don't think I was actually supposed to do, I clamped them together 1 or 2 at a time and put JB Weld all in the cracks. That stuff is amazing. As long as you make sure you're getting the angle right and you're kind of monitoring your clamps and making sure they don't shift too much, this is exactly how I think you're supposed to do it. I did the 3 bottom front pieces, the 3 top front pieces, the two back pieces, and then the 2 bottom back pieces. I clamped those all together. Then I clamped the front to the front and the back to the back. And then finally, I clamped it all, the front to the back, and put it all together. And what do you get? You get a helmet, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not having fun anymore. This is where the real sanding begins, guys. This is what's going to separate the men from the boys. And in a less sexist way to say it, this is gonna suck. So after that, after the JB Weld's put in place, you're gonna want to take Bondo. Some people say use spackle. Don't use spackle. It's water soluble. So once you get it sanded down, it goes away. It just disappears. Don't use spackle. Oh my god, I can't believe anyone suggests for you to use spackle. It's like the worst idea. I wasted so much time trying to use spackle, and then having to sand it away, and then putting Bondo on top of it. I'm just gonna save your life right now. Don't use spackle! So Bondo over all of the edges. I know you don't think you have to do it. Bondo over all of the edges, and with your hands in gloves, smooth out over every single edge, like this. Wear gloves. Sand, 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 sand till your hands go numb. It's gonna be an arduous task. You're not gonna have fun. You're gonna want to cry. You're gonna feel like you failed yourself. But at the end of the road, you finally get to use turtle wax. Guys, this is just a guilty pleasure of mine. I like cars. I don't think anyone on this channel knows I like cars. If you're subscribed to my TikTok, you know I like cars. I think that turtle wax is one of the most delicious smelling things in the entire world. I would drink it if I knew it wouldn't, like, harm my insides. It's awesome. Once you finally put that turtle wax on your creation and you rub it in with a microfiber, there is no better feeling in the entire world than seeing the slight sheen in the light. And I bet you're wondering why it's not painted and why there's no visor. It's because I'm poor. I want to finish it, and I know how I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna use this method for the visor. This dude, like, made one of the coolest Halo helmets ever, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm also gonna install lights around the brim, so when Cody's eyes are in here, you can see them, like, pop. I think that'd be really cool. And for painting, I'm gonna do, I think I want to do, like, an enamel silver on the first pass, and then second pass I'm going to do all of the detail painting, and then I'm going to try and rough it up so it looks like it takes damage and you see, like, metal underneath. I think that'd be really cool. That's my plan for it. Nothing ever goes how I plan. But, watch this video so I can get ad revenue, and then do that. Because, as it stands, this is an incomplete project. Anyways, dudes and dudettes, I have no idea if you learned anything from this. This was actually more just me plodding along a process that I've never done before. I had a lot of fun, I'm not gonna lie. I want to take some cool time-lapse stuff with my 3D printer. I want to work on an Aloy cosplay. I want to make an N7 costume because I love Mass Effect and I love Horizon Zero Dawn. If you guys watch me stream, you know this. So please stick around. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and bye!